Hey veterans, Terrell Morrell here from the VA Claims Insider, and in today's video, we're going to discuss the top 10 myths that veterans come to us and discuss when they're trying to get their disability claim. Some people call it myths, some people call it misunderstanding. For me, I just use this as an opportunity to educate my fellow brothers and sisters in arms. Number one, recently separated. We hear this all the time. Veterans always say, I didn't think I could file a VA claim because I was recently separated from service and I didn't know what I can do. It's actually the total opposite. Most veterans should file their VA disability as they separate out of service, especially within that first year where you still have everything fresh in your mind and it is assumed that the condition comes from service or happened in service while you were active duty or on reserve or in an active status. Number two, that you need a VA lawyer. That is absolutely not the case. You have the medical evidence you need. You have the medical records that you have in service. You have the opportunity to file a disability claim without any legal representation. It is your legal right to be able to file a disability claim based on a condition that you were affected with in service. So if you have a nexus, if you have current treatment and diagnosis, and you have a condition that happened to you or was made worse by your active duty service, then you can file a VA disability claim. Number three, using the VA check to get VBA benefits. Most veterans think that the VHA and the VBA are one and the same. You have the Veterans Healthcare Administration, you have the Veterans Benefit Administration. Just because you're seen by a VA hospital, it's not the VA acknowledging that something happened to you or there was an incident in service. If you had an incident happen to you in service, then it's well documented in your medical service records, and you have the ability to file a disability claim based on those simple facts. So the VHA and the VBA are not one and the same, and because you've seen it, the VHA does not mean that it is service connected. Number four, only physical injuries count. That is absolutely not true. Physical injuries are a part of your VA disability, but there's things that you just can't touch. Migraines, for example, are not necessarily due to a physical injury. Neuropathy, radiculopathy, certain nerve conditions, and most importantly, the biggest one, your mental health. Those things can't be seen with the naked eye, and they affect thousands and thousands of veterans daily. So that's absolutely one of those myths that we have to debunk. Number five, you won't be able to work. I hear this all the time as well. There was nasty rumors going around saying that if you were service connected, that you wouldn't have the ability to work. Part of that is true and part of that is not. They have TDIU, which is temporary disability individual unemployability, which means that you're bound by criteria and a certain amount of money you can work or be paid based on that disability criteria, or just plain old scheduler, what we call scheduler disabilities, where in fact you can still be gainfully employed if your disabilities don't limit you to do that. So not being able to work is an absolutely false myth. Number six, PTSD is only for combat veterans. Not true. PTSD can be combat related or it can be non-combat related. So it's post-traumatic stress disorder. That means that you had an event or incident that caused you physical harm or caused you mental harm based on a fear for your life. PTSD does not have to specifically mean combat-related disability, right? I'm diagnosed with PTSD. It was not a combat situation. It was a situation that happened to me. I won't get into it in this video, maybe in a later video, but it was not combat-related. So you're able to file that disability, and if you have the medical evidence to prove that you have PTSD based on the criteria of the 31 mental health symptoms, you can be rated for post-traumatic stress disorder. Number seven, getting a higher rating is hard. That's not true. Getting a higher rating on your VA disability is based on the severity of your symptoms. If you meet the criteria for getting a higher rating based on the severity of your conditions, then it's as simple as that. Pretty cut and dry. It's in black and white. If you suffer from migraines and you meet the criteria for having that condition over a specific amount of time, over a specific amount of times in a given day, week, month, then you can meet the criteria of getting a higher rating. Number 8, the VA will decrease your rating. Well, the VA will only decrease your rating if they feel as though your condition has gotten better with time. You have the ability to fight this based on if your condition has gotten worse or stayed the same. It's either a static condition or it can be scheduled for a review. If you're scheduled for a review, the VA is just calling and trying to determine if your disability has gotten better over time. In most cases, that's not absolutely how that is looked at or how it's perceived, but you have the ability to fight it. You have the ability to say, no, my condition is getting worse. My condition has not gotten any better. Please do not decrease my rating. Here's my medical documentation to prove so. Number 9, severity of condition guarantees a higher rating. Well, that makes sense based on the things that I just said previously on number 7, but the severity of the condition based on the medical evidence that proves that that condition has gotten worse is what ultimately will garner a higher rating. But it is also an example of a condition can only be rated at a certain percentage. We'll take tinnitus, for example. The maximum rated disability for tinnitus is 10%. So at the 10% rated disability, you can't get 20, 30, 40, or 50 for tinnitus. But that does not mean that the ringing in your ear has gotten worse over time. You could actually file a mental health claim, lifestyle impact, to account for the severity of your condition if it's directly affecting your life. And number 10, how many conditions should you file for? This is one of the biggest ones we hear. Early on in my journey of following my VA claim process, I threw about 50 things at the VA. They all came back denied. I did not have any credible medical evidence. I did not have any active diagnoses, and the VA literally denied everything after about a 2-year stint. Less is more. You're actually sending your VA claim into actual people who are working and adjudicating on it and reviewing all of your claim files. You want to give them a concise picture of your disability. You want to give them the most accurate information that you possibly can, be completely truthful, and hand that over to a VA rater once you submit your claim. And when I say hand it over to a VA rater, I mean submit your claim via 526 Easy form in the online format, and it'll go into a VA processing center where they're able to disperse that to rating specialists who will look at the claim, review it, and then move forward from there. Less is more, file less claims. I'm Terrell Morrell. This is VA Claims Insider. If you or anybody you know needs help in the VA claim space, then the VACI Elite program is the right program for you. Thank you for everything, and I'll see you around. Have a great day.